Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. In the last episode we managed to get our volumetric shit compressor in order, and it's time for us to go back to the body and see if we can get it out of the tree, preferably before the sun sets. That would be a nice... It is getting late in the day now. Is Kuno still here? Kuno has spent the entire day just throwing rocks at a dead body. Let's see if it worked.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
We still only have a 58% chance of passing this check. Oh my god, let's try.
As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand in it.
Do they always do that?
They do after 7 days, yes. We are deep in decomposition here.
Let's step closer.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enamel boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears industrial in strength.
Oh, let's inspect the boots.
The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you, out of place somehow. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
These aren't just boots, are they? They're armor.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots.
Sabatons? What kind of armor is this exactly?
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be.
Where?
Under the heel. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff.
What do you think happened to the rest of it?
The locals probably scavenged it. It would be odd if he had more on after 7 days. We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know.
Maybe we will have to speak to Kuno again. Maybe he was just wearing these boots and there is no rest of the armor.
No, I think he had something precious underneath the clothes. They had to remove the jeans and shirt we found to get to it. And this kind of armor is often worn under fabrics.
Oh, okay.
Nice. That makes sense.
What if they told him to strip before they hung him? To demean him?
They usually hang them completely naked for that. La puta madre, the Mazda, the Besmerties and the like. This one still has his underpants.
Valid point, he still has his underpants and he's still wearing his boots.
Fucking talking about underpants.
Oh, fuck off, Kuno.
Clearly, Kuno would like to interject something here, but there's not enough for him to hold on to.
The material looks out of place here.
It is. It's expensive.
The lieutenant draws a line in the condensation on the ceramic with an index finger.
We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men to semi-automatics.
How much are we talking about?
For a full set, about 4 years of wages.
Cheaps, that's expensive.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 real, unadjusted for rank.
Ooh, unadjusted for ranks. That might be my wage. It might be higher because I may be a higher rank here. Wait, my yearly pay is 5,500 real.
Not too much, yes.
Sounds puny. No wonder I can't pay my hostel bill.
It's a sorry situation, I agree.
How could this man afford such expensive hardware?
That's for us to find out. My initial report on the area suggests he was a security guard for the harbor company, but that's just hearsay.
These look pretty advanced for a security guard.
I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford.
Let's knock on the boot.
A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side of a porcelain cup.
Sounds fragile.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely. See?
Faint, organic lines cover the plates where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then divide into smaller plates until there are hundreds of them altogether. Like whirls of floorboards, the design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood materials, like lignum vitae and ebony perhaps.
What does this remind me of?
If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like.
Let's run our finger over the lines.
The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton, where you notice the whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination: E50, 100, 1000.
Ooh, my perception passed a check. I am surprised. Looks like there's a serial number on the right sabaton.
Good. Can you read it to me?
He tips the drying ballpoint of his pen on his tongue. E50, 100, 1000.
We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
Okay. Can I pull the boot off? Probably a bad idea.
This feels dangerous. Are you sure?
His legs are going to come off, isn't it? Oh, let's try it.
The stench fills your nostrils. As you push downward, an ominous creaking sound comes from above.
Stop!
The lieutenant's voice is sharp. He looks at you with the boot under your arm.
Pig's gonna pull his head off.
Brutal!
I'm going to say what?
Even the mongrels can see you're about to pull his head off.
Do it, homo!
Do what?
Pull his head off. There's no point performing an autopsy if you do. We'll have compromised the coroner's case.
Indeed, from this angle, it does look like the neck isn't going to take much more. Being dead for a week has all but liquefied his muscles.
That seems fair.
What are you trying to achieve anyway? Why are you hanging on to that boot?
These boots would go super well with my bell-bottom pants. No. This is advanced enemy technology. We should conduct research into their weakness. Are we not detectives? There may be clues inside the boot. You said they're expensive? I thought I could pawn them to earn more liqueur. I'm sorry, I didn't even want to take them off. I just thought I should try.
Try what exactly?
I just apologized again. I'm gonna get the voice in my head again, aren't I?
If you can't experiment, how will you learn?
I wanted to see what happens. I might have wanted to experiment, you know, get an exploratory jive going. Let's see what happens.
I don't think we should do anything just for the hell of it. Besides,
The lieutenant taps on the boot.
there's no way you're getting them off. All the organic matter in his body has been flowing down into the boots. They are fused to his feet now. Why do you think the locals haven't scavenged them yet?
Oh, God.
There might still be a way to peel them off, but first the body needs to be down. And second, it would probably be better if the lieutenant wasn't around.
Steal a dead man's boots, but that would be dishonorable. I'm going to refuse. Refuse for honor.
All right then. You can pay the hostel bill in honor points. How many honor points have you collected?
There are honor points?
Of course there aren't. Don't be naive. You still feel as though there might be some honor points. And if there are, you've surely earned one.
So what's going to happen to the boots then?
Processing will take care of them. With the situation in the morgue, it will yield nothing. But we must pick our fights. Should we continue?
Okay, let's back off and look at the
The
corpse.
cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos, and extremities blotched pink and blue.
Let's inspect the belt.
The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, A sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under 6-rotor airships.
Wow. I feel like that's a very specific sort of cargo belt to lay your hands on. Don't ask me how I know, but this is a lashing belt used for airlifting cargo.
Airlifting? I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them.
Apparently this is the reinforced kind for air transport. My brain tells me so.
The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves.
Started to get the idea that yes, this was in fact dock workers. I mean, workman's boots, a strap. It all adds up. They sure wanted him to stay up there. The rope is reinforced with steel wiring.
I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed.
How did they even get him up there?
A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around.
He points to the buckle, tying the belt to the branch above. They climb up using the kid's ladder. Point to the one at the side of the tree.
That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
He makes a pulling motion.
Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory.
They were assuming dock workers from the harbour, did
The
it?
brief suggested as much, politically motivated by the ongoing strike. Did you not get a briefing?
Yeah. No, they might have forgotten to brief me.
Then you should ask me the first moment we get.
Wonderful. Let's back off.
The
a little bit.
cadaver hangs from the cargo belt, limbs limp and torso covered in tattoos.
Let's inspect the tattoos.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. His corpse is marked by stars.
What will mine be marked by?
Alcohol and heartbreak.
Is this a national pattern? Is this a microelectronic system? And this one intrigues me. Is this a map of the night sky? Let's go with national pattern.
Of no nation that I know of. If anything, it reminds me of religious illumination, last or penultimate century. Men who live harsh lives often turn to innocentic worship. But which one? I see no trace of a humanoid figure.
We're missing something here.
I agree.
A sudden ring fills the air as the lieutenant pulls down the zipper of his orange jacket.
He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears. Some sort of camera.
Let's let the lieutenant work. I'm sure he'll explain what he's doing afterwards.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
Thanks, Kuno.
An instant color camera.
He produces 2 metal-capped ampules and clicks them into place on the side of the apparatus. A thin slot shines there.
This is the first time he openly acknowledges the kid's existence.
I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
He points the camera at the corpse, peering into it. The lens needs adjusting. Then
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
In case we need it.
the lieutenant says and shakes the paper, letting it dry in the cold wind. On it, a colour-perfect copy of the dead man's tattooed chest. Cool machine?
Yes. It is pretty cool, isn't it?
What do we need this photo for?
It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter. To us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around.
Can I have it? I should look at it later, without the corpse smell.
Sure. Just don't lose it.
He hands you the piece of rolled up photo paper. It's no larger than a pack of cigarettes.
The glassy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper, teeming with opportunistic organisms.
Do I want to look him in the eye? This seems like a terrible idea.
His eyes are milky white and blind to the world, protruding comically from their sockets. There is no one home, just subaquatic terrors there. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess. Underneath the curdled meat there is an expression, not carried on his features, but below, inside, an expression of pleasure. This man was experiencing joy at the moment of his death.
Inland Empire, medium 11? Tell me who you are, dead man, with an 83% chance. Let's try this. Tell me who you are, dead man.
The corpse is dead silent. You have no idea why you just said that.
Damn.
Who is he? He is male, 40 to 50, with an athletic build.
Thanks, Kim. This man enjoyed the moment of his death.
Why do you think so?
It's an intuition.
Okay.
The lieutenant marks something in his notebook.
I am less skeptic about this hunch, he thinks, than I was of the supernatural premonitions that overtook you at the trash container. He then covers his nose again.
Look, there was something in the trash container. It's fine. My premonitions, my supernatural premonitions, they helped me all the way.
The corpse looks right through you as you distance yourself from its stench, eyes like a shark.
Let's squint and take a step back.
As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a violent mess of green and pink. This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Does his position at the time of death match the discoloration?
Except for that time somebody tried to steal his boots.
Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring air.
His face and hands are pink. Thighs, too.
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good, well-pronounced discoloration here.
Blacks my eyes.
The monster comes back into focus, an explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with something. Black liquid streams down his thigh and onto his boot.
So, what do you think?
I think he's dead. No, I think he was upright after his death. His hands and feet and neck are discolored. I mean, he would be. He would be up, right, if he's been hung. Let's cover our nose. Something's coming out of him.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet. Purge liquid is dripping into it, drop by drop.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at the time of death.
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Maybe he went to the toilet sometime before death.
Maybe.
He doesn't really want to dwell on it too long. Let's say I think he's dead.
I agree.
Yeah.
There are crow's feet in his eyes. He's laughing silently. His personality is no longer a part of the world.
Totally dead.
The world no longer stores his personality in his composition. There was a time for that, and it ended 7 days ago. But better not to say that. Too heavy. Totally.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think he was upright after death. His hands, feet, and neck are discolored.
Agreed, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis supports a hanging.
Seems like a lynching to me. Could it still be he was moved after death? Maybe he was strangled by someone? It does seem like a lynching, but maybe he was strangled by someone?
Yes, there's always a chance we are wrong. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to get him down first.
He's beaten up. Do you see the bruises?
I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport.
Oh, of course, they were throwing stones at him.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
He means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal-like.
Let's back off and catch our breath.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver filling the air and your nostrils. He slowly rotates before you, decomposing.
So, how do we get him down?
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's down.
We've been thorough. Do you have a plan for getting him down?
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle of approach to the belt.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating, annoying, and harder than he thought.
Yeah, definitely.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material.
We could saw the branch. Maybe we could shoot him down. We could saw the branch.
Climb up there and saw the branch?
Yeah, it seems dangerous.
There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees.
Maybe we could ask for help from the harbor.
I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appeared to be suspect in this case. It seems like a dangerous route to go down.
Yeah, let's reconsider.
But what other options? The corpse twists on the belt, like chicken on a skewer.
Can't someone else do it?
Someone else? You mean like the police?
Yeah, exactly, the police.
What was that about processing, then? Weren't they supposed to take care of the boots? Why don't they help?
Yeah, can't the boys from processing take care of this?
No.
Oh. Why?
Think of the boys from processing as murderers. Only instead of people, they murder crime scenes. Processing is a wrecking crew. They know how to commission off items and how to work the incinerator in the morgue. I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And we have a growing sanitary concern here. We need to get him down, fast.
Maybe we could shoot him down.
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Okay, there. The buckle holds the belt together.
Where? Ah, yes, I see. If the shot hits that, there might be a chance to release the belt.
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain a Kuno with some shit.
They'll miss! The pigs will miss Kuno!
The lieutenant is undecided. On one hand, he wants to shoot some gun. On the other, it's an awfully stupid idea.
Oh, what do you mean? It's a brilliant idea. Take the shot, Lieutenant. What's the worst thing that could happen? Actually, don't. It has bad idea written all over it. Wait, let me try. Say nothing, let him choose.
Silence. With his elbow sharp, the lieutenant unzips his jacket and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks.
Oh, you hero.
That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice, mass-produced muzzleloader, ascetic, frugal, one of the most common firearms in the world. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
I'm gonna say nothing.
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke slowly parts in the air as the lieutenant steps back and says to himself,
I think he missed.
God damn it.
He feels bad about it. About his eyes mostly. Just having bad eyesight. Probably from a young age. Whatever you do, do not console him.
Fucking idiot! Walkabout asshole!
Oh my god, these kids.
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he?
Try again, maybe?
No, we are lucky as it is. We didn't break anything, and the victim remains uncompromised.
He looks around at the windows overlooking the yard.
Any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals. We have eyes on us. I didn't do us any favors with that.
What now?
I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance.
Can I have the gun? I could try.
It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks.
He pauses, then shrugs and proceeds to load the pistolet.
Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. Just don't lose it.
The piece shines in his outstretched hand.
They only have one gun!
This is the sorriest pair of pigs Kuno's ever seen.
I will take that gun.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana pointer! Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth!
Can I point the gun at Kuno? That's probably not allowed, right? Let's feel the weight first.
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light. Your fingers fit right through the guard, instinctively resting on the trigger.
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno? Tell him to shoot himself in the mouth!
The gun at the belt?
The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firmly in the ground and your left hand supporting your gun arm.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
I'm definitely going to shoot Kuno.
This isn't mere boundary pushing. There is a true suicidal rage in the kid as she's provoking you.
17% chance? Oh my god. Can I say shut up?
What? You gonna fuck me? You wanna fuck me, pig? Is that what this is about?
Oh my god. Must resist the urge to point the gun at Kuno. Or Kuno S. There's my left eye.
Your field of view narrows. The branch slowly moves, becoming entirely two-dimensional. The metal buckle glimmers, slick, with the falling rain. The corpse slowly rotates. The slow movement of the branch in the wind and your shoulders directing the gun sync up, dancing hypnotically. As you wait, your breathing slows down. Some mosquito-like organism buzzes in your peripheral.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
42% chance. We try it. I think this is the best we're gonna get. Hey!
The buckle explodes into tiny pieces, coming loose with a whir. With your hand numb from the recoil, you look at the body slump down. For a moment, the man appears to kneel in front of you, looking straight at you, helpless, trapped within itself.
Who killed you?
Communism.
Oh, hello.
It takes a millisecond for the association to flash within your cortex. You have no idea where it's coming from, only that it's right.
Communism, hey?
Then the rigor in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways into the spring mud, letting out a horrid stench.
We got the body down. Task complete. You've been policed. Who's laughing now, you little shit?
Fuck you, Kurpale!
Despite her words, her tone seems celebratory. Been
Pace is
policed.
high.
Lieutenant raises his right hand, waiting for you to slap it.
The ace is high, a custom invented by the aerostatic brigades during the revolution, is used to celebrate success in Revachol, especially in sports. The gesture is spread across the world, despite the defeat of the revolutionaries themselves.
Oh, we're definitely slapping it.
The lieutenant takes a little hop to perform the customary salutation. Your palm hurts from the slap. It's precise and down to the point.
I knew these guys were
Oh, what now, Kuno?
We will perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death. But before... Excuse me.
He needs to turn away from the corpse.
It looks like I feel like taking a break from the stench. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. Just a little breather before we do the autopsy.
I'm going to give him back his gun. Because he has all the bullets anyway. Alright, give him back his gun.
In the meantime, we should try to interview Evrard Clare, the leader of the Union. Harbor property was clearly used in the hanging. The harbor just east of here. Getting in might prove a challenge, though.
Should have kept the gun.
Or we could ask around for the representative of the logistics company. My initial information says the Wild Pines have sent some sort of strike negotiator to wrangle control back from Evrard.
You could ask the gardener for directions.
Is this the famous list of initial interviews?
Yes. And those were the interviewees. Let's go.
Okay, let's end. What's this?
Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now.
Oh, that was more depressing than I was hoping. What bonuses do we get? We learn. A learning cap for perception has been raised to 5. And speed gives 1 sigh. Okay. We also have Aces High. Plus 1 empathy towards Kim Kitsuragi. I mean, sure. I don't mind getting to know Kim. The Insulidian Civil War was not the first war to see the use of aerostatic aircraft on both sides, but it was the longest. For 8 years, folded multi-rotor aircrafts crisscrossed the air above Revachol, Ozone, Bas-la-Mer, and the Arcade Islands. They made sweeps over sandy beaches and shot each other out of the blue sky, then sank as wrecks to the bottom of the sea. The Aces High was a custom on the revolutionary side, performed by squadron mates after landing. Lieutenant Kitsuragi likes it. Why is that? Okay, we're going to focus on that. Apparently we leveled up though, so can we level up something here? What do we want to level up? I feel like I want to increase my hand-eye coordination because the checks have been there, but also something like reaction speed because I failed a reaction speed check. Yeah, the quickest to react to the untouchable man. I could obviously get more... I could get drama to detect lies and play lies. We have used drama a few times. But because Motorix is my lowest skill, I kind of feel like maybe it's important to put something in there. But I could just play to my strengths. Maybe, do you know what? I'm going to go for drama. Go with drama. Detect lies. Lie and detect lies. We also had some changes here. We can interact with the photo of tattoos. Lieutenant Kitsuragi snapped this photo of the hanged man's tattoos. It displays the intricate web of blue lines stretching across his torso. You have to admit, it looks quite cool.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed, in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. The pattern still kind of has an ethnic feel to it, but nothing familiar.
Who are you?
Gone.
What's the meaning of this tattoo?
For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone close to the victim might know.
Maybe that's a good idea. It's a shame we don't know who he is.
Someone who knows about history could tell you.
History, that could also be one. Do we know anyone who knows about history? We know that there's the cryptozoologist, the lady. Oh my god, look at all this. Interview the Wild Pines rep, find the representative of the logistics company who owns the harbour and ask her about the murder. She should be around here somewhere. We can interview the union boss, enter the harbour and seek an audience with the local, oh god, Debardier's union leader. Everett Clare. You need to ask him about the murder in his district. Perform a field autopsy. The hanged man is down. Perform a closer inspection of his body, arriving at cause of death. This will need a form to be filled in 3 parts. Let's do that. Let's perform a field autopsy. I do need to talk to Kim about the brief as well, but let's do the field autopsy.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Okay. First, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
Oh yes, of course.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Okay then. Let's clap my gloved hands. Let's get in there.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
Alright.
I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take notes?
We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
Thank you.
You knew it because you inspected your ledger. The lieutenant is relieved you know the protocol.
Let's open the ledger at the field autopsy form.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with
1. Assistant.
That's you.
Let's write the initials HDB.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
The coroner's case number.
KK57-0803.0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Okay, let's write it down. He raises a valid point. We don't know who we are. We don't want to screw this up.
Next,
Name.
NA. Next,
Date of birth's going to be NA as well.
NA.
Age.
Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm going to write 42. Approximately 42.
He nods.
Race.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Muindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
We'll write it down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex?
Fucky, fucky!
The little monster exclaims energetically.
Male.
Pigs can have sex.
That's right, male. Right, pig's gonna have sex, gonna. Right, male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death?
We're still going with March 4th, 51.
Okay, right, the 4th of the 3rd, 51.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
11. The evidence of treatment.
None, at least not after the initial examination.
A strange word. Treatment.
What exactly is treatment? Anyway.
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
How did you not know that? Aren't you a cop? You're leaving a weak impression here. Say something sure-handed.
Oh, this is a terrible idea.
Don't overdo it. It's okay to be unsure.
Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
He places his hand on the dead man's chest, as if in preparation.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
Let's turn the page.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
External examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
Let's write it down.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
Write it down.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
Write it down.
Tattoos.
He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini.
Write it down.
The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end.
Write it down.
Well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing.
Write it down.
Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Touch the corpse's hair before moving on. That's a bit weird. Let's just write it down. Short, light brown, male pattern baldness.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
Let's just write it down.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small, folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
I think I have the clippers.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Oh yeah, I'm prepared. Good thing we got these chain cutters. Pull out the rubber-gripped cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
Oh, probably. My hand-eye coordination's pretty terrible.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Let's look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
Oh dear, that didn't help, did it? We have a 17% chance. I think we're going to fail here.
You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then
Rotate some more.
a really, really bad smell is coming from there now. And some kind of cracking sound.
Cut some.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that faggot. Corpse fucking time.
Told you my pig was hardcore.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
He steps in and takes the chain cutters from you. I'm going to let him work.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
Here.
He hands you the chain cutters back and then kneels closer to the body, running his finger along the dark red groove until he comes to a gap.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Let's write it down.
Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact. Genitalia.
He pulls down the man's underpants.
No, it's gonna happen, see.
I fucking knew it.
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Let's just write it down and move on. Does it look like he was enjoying his moment of death? God damn it. I am intrigued by this because we did hint it in our own head. So I'm going to ask this. It's probably not going to end well.
Ah yes, your hunch before. We can have a semen analysis requested from processing, if that's what you meant.
No, I was trying to get a psychic read. No, yeah, science. That's what I meant.
Just write down that we request an analysis.
The corpse with his pants down does not have an opinion on the subject. All he has his genitals, and a deathly odor.
I don't want to inspect his genitals, but I feel like the option's there.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
Wonderful. Let's write it down. Add a semen sample.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
This scarring is extensive. Way more than a law's officials.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars.
Let's write it down.
Last item. Hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. I'm just going to let the lieutenant work alone, I think.
Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle.
Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
Oh, maybe I should have looked at the hand.
Working so close to the fumes coming from the corpse must be hard. You realize suddenly that the lieutenant has been barely keeping it together these past 2 items.
We'll write it down.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Before we go into the internal examination, I think I am going to end this episode here because it's been going on for a while. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. And as always, I'll see you next time.